Ramona Shelburne, the great NBA insider from the Mothership, joining us. As I mentioned, Ramona will be on the Jumps NBA free agency special on Sunday and Monday, 7 Eastern on ESPN2. It's a delight to have you on, Ramona. How are you this morning?
Good. I guess today's one of the days we've been waiting to hear. Right? Today's one of the big. We find out if LeBron opts into his contract or just simply lets the deadline pass by, which is what we all expect to happen. But and then I think that's the real official start, right? Like there's been this sort of pre-period, but after that, that's the real official start to free agency.
Best case scenario for the Lakers is what over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
I guess the best case would be just the original plan holds up, right? They get LeBron and Paul George, and then they figure out something to do, with add another star somewhere in between. But I think they feel like I think there's a sense right now that the original plan is not in play right now, right? Because Paul George seems to be staying in Oklahoma City, because that's all the indications everybody seems to have right now, and the feel I have certainly as a reporter from talking to people. And so that's why you see all the wildness you've seen this last week, where you sort of have to, and this is a truism we found in the NBA the last few years, which is simply you have to get one star before you can get two, and you have to get two before you can even think about three. So they don't have any of those. They have a bunch of kids who play really a nice brand of basketball, but and they have a lot of cap space. But it's hard to get somebody to be the first, and I think that's where they are right now.
But if LeBron would opt out and go to the Lakers are still going to have to give up a treasure trove to get Kawhi there. How good are the Lakers going to be if you have LeBron and Kawhi? Like, what's going to be left there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where you look and say, okay, LeBron, you have a lot of guys in your Rolodex, right? You have a lot of dudes who are, call them up and see if they'll come for the vet minimum. Call them up, see if we can make happen. But that's not ideal, and I think that's where they look at it, and I think the Lakers have a big picture sense of this too, which is, they don't, there is a fair trade to make for Kawhi Leonard out there. But it's whoever's definition of fair, right? And if you're San Antonio, fair is, well, if you get Kawhi, that's sort of like trading for LeBron and Kawhi. And so they want a lot. And the Lakers are sort of saying, the last couple of trades that have happened in this vein have been something like two good young players and maybe a draft pick, right? And so you use the models of the last couple of trades and sort of see how this plays out. And I think we're at the point now where somebody's either going to blink or they're not, and we're not going to see much action. But they do have a lot of other options, and I think people sometimes laser focus in on one option, or the Kawhi Leonard option, because that's what's been reported and that's what seems obvious right now. But there's so many other players in the league, especially in a league that's still dealing with the fallout from people signing massive contracts 2 years ago when there was a salary cap spike, and then now there's really not a lot of money out there. Well, when you have two spots open in terms of salary cap space for maximum contracts, you can trade somebody into that space. It's not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily sign a free agent, trade somebody into that space. So there's a lot of players out there who are available that, are more available than people realize, right? And I think that'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks, because free agency is one thing, and then there's the post free agency where people find out, okay, where do we really stand?
I know. Well, that's no fun, Ramona. This is the fun part here. It's like the speculation, the rumor, innuendo is what's fun. If I made you commissioner, that you could say, this is where LeBron is going to go for the good of the league, where would you have LeBron James go or stay?
Well, listen, I would say it's LA or Cleveland, but if I had to choose, and so I'm the commissioner or I'm me, because when I I normally root for me, right? Which is, generally speaking, I live in Los Angeles, so I've had to get on a lot of airplanes the last couple of years because the Lakers and Clippers have not been all that relevant.
Yeah.
So when I root for me, I root for the team in LA, right?
Okay.
Because it's better for me to have a good team. But you know what? I've kind of gotten to the point where, like, I enjoy I've enjoyed the story, and I've enjoyed the circus, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have been a heck of a story and a heck of a circus. And I think, as a writer, like, sometimes people get frustrated writing about the same thing over and over and over. It's 4 straight years of the same finals, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got into it. I like it. The sort of, I wouldn't hate it if he stayed in Cleveland either, because it's sort of it's a nice story, and it would be a surprising turn at this point. Yeah,
I'm in the minority. I've been saying all along that he stays there one more year just to kind of get a better sense of what's happening. And I don't think he wants to join the Lakers a year early. And with these kids, and they are kids, I think he'd like to see what happens with that 2019 free agency class, and then maybe he can orchestrate it a little bit better. There's too much unknown right now for him to I think, just go, I'm all in on the Lakers whether we get somebody or not. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think I understand where you're saying there, and I don't disagree with you in terms of the thought process there. And I think it's, when you're LeBron James, a star of that stature, right? Like, it's really transcendent star. You don't take a pitch meeting unless you already know what you're going to do, right? Like, unless you already know the answer is yes. Like, if he wants to do a film project and you're going to have a meeting with some studios, you're not stepping in and thinking into any kind of meeting and thinking there's a chance that they may not pick up your project, right? Like, by the time you get in that room, it's solid. So it's kind of the same thing with free agency, right? You're that good. You don't necessarily need to be taking risk. He's done so much in his career. He doesn't need to be the guy taking on the risk, and yet I think that's the position he's in right now. Yeah. And some of it is up to him, right? Some of it is, he's got, like we said, he's got the Rolodex of every player in the league. And, as much as everybody thinks it's about teams recruiting players, it's really, at this stage in the NBA, it's players recruiting players. And so I think he has a little more control over the situation than any of us realize. We're just, not privy to all the behind the scenes texting and Snapchatting and FaceTiming.
Ramona, I know you got a busy weekend there. Thanks for joining us, and we appreciate your time.
You got it.
That's Ramona Shelburne, ESPN NBA Insider.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.